Much for joining us this morning, and I want to ask you about the bodies because they have now identified that those were indeed the bodies of JJ and Tylee. Months after their death, would they still be identifiable without an autopsy report?
Well, after several months like that, the decomposition would be dramatic. I just worked on a case recently where the body was left to the elements for just 24 days, and there was really nothing left except bones and the clothing. So the challenges that they have in this particular case are daunting. You've got issues of etymology, you've got issues of animal disturbance of the remains, and then there were also reports that I think I read with regard to the bodies being concealed or disturbed in an egregious manner, meaning the body could have been mixed with other elements, other potential biological material to help mask the body. And when you get into this kind of a crime scene and an exterior crime scene, you have to think about it like essentially murder archaeology. And the tools that they're going to be using to scan this quite a big area, I think they've cordoned off about a 1 mile radius, a square around the burial site. And they're going to have to scan each layer of the ground to see, one, if there are multiple burial sites that might be masking important components of the anatomy that might directly result in determining the manner and cause of death.
Let me ask you about the crime scene itself, because I would imagine around that crime scene, they're looking for evidence to tie either Chad Daybell or Lori Vallow to that scene. So how do they go through that process?
Well, they're going to need to try to find a murder weapon. They're going to need to find how they were killed. You could be suffocated, shot, blunt force trauma. So they're going to want to be able to identify what kind of damage the body has. And it's very difficult when you don't have a lot of biological material left. So we're dealing with bones, and we're dealing with potentially clothing. Also, we're looking for, concealment of other evidence that would indicate how they were killed. Just by finding the bodies doesn't necessarily have the link to prove that they murdered each of these children. So, it's quite a task for the crime scene investigators, and they have to go very slow. And it's almost like panning for gold. So as they go through 1/4-inch layers of the topsoil, they need to sift it through a 1/4-inch kind of net material to uncover small pieces of evidence. It could be bullet fragments, it could be bone fragments, it could be some type of a murder weapon, and those are the types of things that they're looking for. And it's going to take a long time. This is, the recovery of human remains is not considered an emergency. The goal here, I think, at this particular time is to collect and preserve the evidence in such a manner that it's admissible in court and it provides a causation from the bodies to the people, to the parents that are accused of, killing these poor children. So it's a difficult job that the crime scene investigators have in front of them, especially when we're dealing with such a long period of time and potential decomposition. One of the other things that they're going to want to do is bring in other experts, whether it's in botany or etymology, to try to try to close down the time of death. We don't know. They could have been dead for 7 months, 8 months, 3 months. We just don't know. So, one of the things is you want to look at the plant life that's covering the burial site, and then deal with a botanist who will say something, it takes this long for this plant to grow from here to here. So getting the timeline of the time of death is going to be important, as well as trying to determine the manner and cause and any potential weapons used in the killing. It's quite a job for the police and the crime scene people, and quite a sad, somber thing that they have to do.
It is. It is. Heartbreaking story indeed. We thank you very much for your insight, and it kind of gives us a glimpse of what's coming up.